Anybody out there want to lead us in prayer today? Anyone want to volunteer? Volunteer? So we'll do the pledge first.
Oh, it's 10:30.
Okay, please join me in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Julie Green's going to deliver our prayer today. Amen. Okay, the next public workshop will be Tuesday, April 18th, 2023 at 10 a.m. in this room. The next regular meeting will be Wednesday, April 19th, 2023, 10:30 a.m. also right here in this room. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Here.
Ms. Frenchco.
Here.
Mr. Malloy.
Here.
Item number 1, to dispense with reading the minutes of the regular meeting dated April 5th, 2023, and approve them as distributed and printed.
A motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
No.
Item number 2, to approve the bills.
A motion to approve the bills?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 3, to transfer monies.
A motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because there was no detailed explanation provided, no.
Item number 4, to approve decreasing appropriations.
A motion to approve the decrease of appropriations?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 5, to approve additional appropriations.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because for part of them, I didn't receive anything, no.
Item number 6, to transfer appropriations.
A motion to approve transferring appropriations?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because the departments and the elected officials are refusing to provide explanations for the transfers, no.
And item number 7, to receive the amended certificate of the County Budget Commission number 4, 2023.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Number 8, to go in executive session pursuant to revised code 121-22G3 to conference with an attorney for the Trumbull County Board of Commissioners concerning a dispute involving the Board of Commissioners as subject to pending court action.
I'd like to make a motion to move up the resolution for the Girard students ahead of this.
I'm fine with that. I'll second that.
Okay.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
I will.
Is it number 25?
Yes.
Move to number 5 in our journal, and it is to concur with the Trumbull County Planning Commission and recognize through resolution the 2023 Trumbull County Players of the Year, Thomas Cadiero of Girard School District and Sophia Hook of the Brookfield School District. So have a resolution to present to them today. I'm going to call the roll on that. To make a motion.
Yeah.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
I'll go over it. Yes, we're signing it. First, we have 2 copies, one for each.
Probably.
That would be better.
Yeah, yep. Sure.
Julie.
Oops, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, you can, if you can send it. I just.
They're framing it. They're the same resolution, but we're gonna get one framed and then take that one back and frame it.
We have a resolution by the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners. Congratulations to Trumbull County Players of the Year. Whereas it is with great pride that the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners joins parents, students, teachers, and the Trumbull County Coaches Association in recognizing and congratulating Sophia Hook of the Brookfield High School as the 2023 Girls Trumbull County Player of the Year, and Thomas Cordiero of Girard High School as the 2023 Boys Trumbull County Player of the Year. Both seniors were awarded by the Trumbull County Player of the Year award last week by the Trumbull County Coaches Association banquet at Leo's Restaurant in Howland Township. And whereas Hook has earned all county and all MVAC honors since she was a freshman, was named Conference Player of the Year as both a sophomore and a senior. She finished her career at Brookfield with 1,535 points and also earned all Ohio third team honors as both senior and sophomore. Whereas Cordiero averaged 17.3 points, 9.8 rebounds, 3 assists, and earned Northeast 8 Conference Player of the Year. Cordiero surpassed the 1,000-point mark for his career during a season where he led Girard to a 16-8 record in a district semifinals appearance and finished his career the second all-time in points scored in school history. And whereas Hook becomes the 3rd player in Brookfield girls basketball history to win the award, joining Sue Chomos and Bailey Gerpola, Cordiero becomes the 4th player in Girard boys basketball history to win the award, joining the legendary Nick Cochran, Greg Morgan, and Dylan O'Hara. And therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners commend Sophia Hook of Brookfield High School and Thomas Cordiero of Girard High School, finishing their high school careers and being named Trumbull County Players of the Year by the Trumbull County Coaches Association. So congratulations again to you. Big honor in this county. Okay. That's quite a big honor. When I was in high school, I got to watch Nick Cochran destroy my Cardinal Mooney Cardinals with about 13 3-pointers in one game. And so if you're in that, you're in rare air if you're up there with Nick Cochran for Player of the Year.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, everyone.
To our executive session.
Should I read it again or do you
Yes,
just want to take a
probably
look?
read it.
Okay, once again, to go into executive session pursuant to RC 121-22 G3 to conference with an attorney for the Trumbull County Board of Commissioners concerning a dispute involving the Board of Commissioners that is a subject of pending court action.
Second, is that motion?
That was me reading it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
This has, I'm gonna read it. I make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to RC 121.22 G3 to conference with an attorney for the Trumbull County Board of Commissioners concerning the dispute involving the Board of Commissioners that is subject to pending court action.
Second.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yeah.
Our human resources director should.
Where are we going?
Hi, how are you? Hi. Pleasure. I'm Paula, Paula Bodaplatz. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you for coming to our meeting. Really appreciate by video or being. This has been the best so far. I think that people can hear us. The public join the meeting. Executive session now, and it could be 5 minutes, it could be an hour. So I'm not sure, how long that will take. So. Oh, so yes, you have to have patience, but thank you for introducing yourself. It was nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hi, how are you? Good.
No, we just have a records request. I can't talk about it now because we're being, but it's just something I need to know if you have an email because I need to send you a request. That's all. I did not know that. I guess that's an asset tag. So thank you. Did you give it to Dawn? We didn't know either. Sheriff said that was an asset tag on there. I just need an email address from you to send requests that we got. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Fuda. I'm sorry. Number 8, and then they'll reconvene on number 9. Welcome.
I will make a motion to reconvene from executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G3.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 10, to approve the personnel action for the employment of Mr. Ronald Exline for the position of laborer with the Trumbull County Sanitary Engineers Department effective Thursday, April 13th, 2023. Pay range 0 years. That's $14.10 per hour. And this was pursuant to an authorized job posting from March 6th through March 14th, 2023.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 11, to amend the action taken by the Board of County Commissioners on April 5th, 2023, recorded in Journal Volume 156, page 25591, to authorize the purchase of a Ford E450 DRW cutaway mounted mainline TV inspection truck. And the amendment is necessary to correct the amounts paid from each appropriations. The total was the same. It's just the amount in the appropriation was just off a little.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 12, to enter into a private agreement for the extension of 13 sanitary sewer service connections and installation of 4 new wise and service connections in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, section 307.73 with Charles Reeser along Saddlebrook Lane, private, Bezetta Township, Trumbull County Combined Sanitary Sewer District, Mosquito Creek, sub-district known as project number 1S23.
I wanted to make a motion to table this because I don't have anything back from the prosecutor's office about this language being correct. I sent an email yesterday and I haven't heard.
Motion dies for lack of a second.
Commissioners, I did get in touch with Bill Danzo about that, and he did send a response that everything's okay with the prosecutor's
Wait.
office for this.
I didn't get a response last night or this morning by.
I had an email that came in this morning, to that effect that, yes, Gary, everything here is, you got pre-approval for this.
May I see your email, please?
I'm not sure if I brought it with me, but
Or if you could forward it to someone to.
Voting on the motion. I'll make a motion to approve agenda item number 12.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Only because I haven't had an opportunity to receive what was stated. No. Just wish, and I'd like to ask that all these things come before the meeting so by Tuesday morning, when we finally have the agenda, that's the time to make sure that we have the proof that things were reviewed.
Sure, this was sent to Mr. Danzo by Mr. Miller on Thursday, April 6th. I was right there
You weren't
with you.
asked to interject.
You
What I-
talked to the prosecutor.
what I-
She didn't
what I
email
was-
you and emailed the sanitary engineer. That's an issue you need to bring up with the prosecutor's
Before
office.
these things come onto the agenda, I ask that the clerk ensure
Next
that
item agenda, Madam Clerk.
everything
Let's
is
please keep
Discussion
moving.
here. Next agenda item.
Yeah. motion to require the clerk to have proof that items are approved as to form and process by the prosecutor's office before adding them to our agenda.
Boy, if I may,
The motion died for lack of a second.
Oh.
Clerk.
we received an email from Mr. Toth saying they couldn't be gatekeeper for all of our items. What's reasonably, I send them, I talk to them, I work with them as much as I can. I saw that Mr. Miller sent.
Point of
this.
order.
You did bring
Point-
that up. at the
point
meeting
of
yesterday.
order.
So, thank you.
This is not the point of order. The clerk is not a member of the board. Please.
Clerk
stop
was filling us in on educational information, reiterating what she talked about yesterday
defending
at the
fact
public
that
meeting that you
she's
chose not to be at.
defending her, the point that. the
Next
fact that she
item,
doesn't get
Madam
the
Clerk,
things
please.
to us in order to make.
Number 13.
Item number 13, to approve an agreement by and between the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners and the City of Warren Ohio for waste collection services for various county buildings as listed for a 2-year period commencing July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2025.
I'd like to make a motion to table agenda item 13 in order to gain or obtain at least 2 other quotes to show that this is in fact the best rate. It won't hurt anything. It's just in good faith.
Motion dies for lack of a second.
This agreement is for a 2-year period commencing July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2025. The monthly total is $2,321 with the annual total of $27,852.
A motion to approve, and the special note is this contract is exempt from the bidding process pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 307.86C. Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Only because other quotes weren't shopped. No,
It's exempt.
it doesn't matter if it's exempt. It shows the public that we did due diligence to make sure that this is the best rate.
We
We
had a
have done due
beautiful
diligence.
presentation yesterday by Shara with backing up information you should have been at. You'd have learned a lot of that stuff yesterday. Item number 14, please.
Item number 14, to authorize Mauro Cantala Mesa, Trumbull County Commissioner, to execute the subdivision and special district settlement participation form and any other required documents on behalf of Trumbull County as a governmental entity to allow Trumbull County to participate in the Agron settlement in the TIVA settlement agreement dated November 22nd, 2022 regarding the claims pending and regarding the national prescription opiate litigation,
Wait,
MDL
What,
number.
what changed from the agenda from yesterday and today? I'm still going by the one from yesterday because that's where I took my notes when I was researching all the items. What,
I
You
sent
have
the
that
new,
one right there next
yes,
to it.
but
I sent an explanation, a new agenda to the board last evening after I
but
finished
something
it.
is,
Number 14 on our new agenda.
I'm looking at the,
We were told at the public meeting yesterday, there would be an agenda item added regarding this from Mr. Masaki. And we were waiting for the wording, which did come in yesterday after our public
when
meeting.
agenda items
So-
are added, please put them at the end, not in the middle of the agenda, because we use these to work and they're in an order.
I see no problem with that. We took one out on number 14 and for convenience, it
still-
was submitted there, so we didn't have to renumber everything.
Does that mean there's a motion and a second because we're discussing?
Yes.
Okay. Or there's a motion, I'll second that. So this agenda item has to do with the One Ohio national lawsuit with the manufacturers, not the distributors. The distributors, we have our own lawsuit that and our own judgments that are currently being appealed in the 6th District Appeals Court with CVS and Walmart and Walgreens. That's for $350 million. This is in addition to that, and we'll go towards our abatement program and our board that we've constructed. It's a national settlement for the manufacturers. The 7 to 15-year period for TIVA is about 3.4 billion. And that's going to be up to about $1 million over the term of that. So Trumbull County will see about $1 million over that 15-year period. And with Allegron, it's about 500,000 that we'll realize over the course of 7 years. So roughly almost $100,000 per year. So those are the numbers, and it's basically these are settlements that are done nationally. So I mean, this is what our attorney Galucci has recommended, as well as Napoli Skolnick in New York. So this is a win for Trumbull County by all means.
where is there a copy of this?
A copy of
Yes. This,
Sure, Mr. Masaki would be able to
where-
provide
did
us
you,
with it.
did the board receive?
we
a copy?
discussed it at the public
So
meeting.
did the board receive a copy of the settlement that they're voting on or anything?
This is a windfall for Trumbull
Okay,
County.
but I'm
Yeah,
just asking if. there-
Mr. Masaki was the point person on this.
Mr.
So he's
Masaki-
received it.
Okay, so.
And
we're-
it's a yes or no, whether we receive it or not. There's
Okay.
no negotiating. It's already been negotiated
So there's
by
a,
the lawyers.
would have liked to see, I'm not,
Okay,
See,
you can vote no, Commissioner.
no,
I'm
so
sorry.
during discussion here, and Martha Yoder's in here, I just want to point out and underscore for everyone in Trumbull County that Mr. Masaki's work you're saying that he's working on the settlement and the lawsuit for the Trumbull County Board of Commissioners, that Mr. Masaki
Right.
works on the drainage districts, that Mr. Masaki is the ARPA council or deals with ARPA on behalf of the Board of Commissioners. That Mr. Masaki used to be in the commissioner's office. Once he was required to start clocking in, he was then hidden and transferred to the auditor's
You're
office.
going in the direction
Hang
you're
on.
slandering an
No,
employee.
I
It's
am,
not going to be tolerated from the chair.
no,
If you have a
It's-
question.
it's
They're
an-
going to expose the county to further
It's-
lawsuits.
it's-
Please, can we move on?
this is an audit issue and we just received a state audit and those who are people need to be doing the work associated with that elected official's duties.
He's not an
We're-
elected official.
Martha Yoder is, she's an auditor and
We
none of
work
the,
in conjunction
of
with
the
our
things-
auditor and we
none of the
share
things that,
duties
none
so
of
that
the
we can move
things,
the county
none of
forward.
the, none of the things that Mr. Masaki does relates to the auditor's office. They relate to the commissioners and he was hidden because
Commissioner.
eyes were on him.
Commissioner,
Yes.
Commissioner, the auditor is its own elected office.
Mhm.
The auditor can employ anybody that he or she chooses.
Who is working for the purpose of the statutory duties of the auditor, not for the purpose of the statutory duties of the commissioners.
The auditor's office works in conjunction with the commissioner's office. If we share duties, that's a way to save money and not hire new personnel.
Duties
If you
aren't
want to
shared.
hire
He
new
trans-
personnel,
he was
put it on the
transferred
agenda and we
and
can vote on it. Otherwise, let's move on.
It's
This is
being
a
audited.
$1.5 million windfall for the Trumbull County.
And the
You're going to
commissioners
dispute
and
it.
the Board of,
It's
the-
asinine.
the Board of Commissioners has not received a copy of this. So I would just like to table this until we receive,
You want
make
to
a
table
motion to-
receiving this money.
we shouldn't be voting on things we haven't reviewed. That's,
We have an
Period.
attorney that is reviewing it.
is,
And he's responsible
whose
for getting
attorney is
millions
it?
of dollars back to this county potentially.
whose attorney is it? The board's
Three
attorney?
hundred fifty million more to come because of Mr.
If it was
Masaki.
the board's
And you're
attorney,
chastising this person.
then if it
It's
was the board's
ridiculous.
attorney, then
It is ridiculous.
then he would be working for the board and emailing the board and employed out of the funds of the commissioners,
Let's
not
call the
out of
vote,
another
please. Let's
elected
call-
official.
Call the vote.
Mr.
This is wrong.
Discussion started with Commissioner Frenchco. So Ms. Frenchco.
Only because I haven't reviewed anything and haven't received one thing relative to this item. And it shouldn't have been placed on the agenda by our clerk unless she had that item and gave it to the commissioners, the information. She should be the gatekeeper to make sure things going on our agenda have been reviewed by the commissioners.
I
No,
was told to by the majority of the board. at the
We
public
discussed it
workshop.
yesterday at the
Wait, the-
public meeting.
I
okay.
was told to put the item
You
on.
should have been
Thank
there
you, ma'am.
again. One more good thing you missed for the citizens of Trumbull County.
And more time wasting. in
There's
this
no
meeting.
information, there's no information.
Wasting their time today too. Let's move on
Mr.
with the
Cantala
vote.
Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Item number 15, to exercise Trumbull County's option to renew the contract by and between the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners and Direction Home of Eastern Ohio Incorporated, formerly known as Area Agency on Aging. And that is for access to the agency's Social Assistance Management System, the SAMS, for an additional 1-year period effective March 1st, 2023 through February 29th, 2024. The base cost for the program is $5,000 annually, plus the renewal of license fees for providers is $446.08 per license. 5 licenses are needed at this time for a total amount, including the base cost of $7,230.40 to be paid for from the senior levy fund.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. I just want to make sure that the renewal is permissible because pursuant to the agreement, it says the county has the option to renew the agreement on an annual basis by notifying the agency of its intent to renew in writing at least 60 days prior to the termination of the initial term and any renewal term. And in my packet, I didn't see any letter from the county requesting that they were going to renew it. Does that exist? I saw that. I'm just looking at the actual contract that says that the county was supposed to reach out. So they'll renew it even though we didn't follow it. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 16, to approve the personnel action for the employment of Miss Crystal Humsicker for the position of pound keeper with the Trumbull County Dog Kennel effective April 17th, 2023. Pay range 3, 0 years, $14.10 per hour.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because this is not even this was not a position on our books, period. It was a part-time job left unfilled once a deputy position was created. And now it's being converted to full-time and has never been filled for a number of years. No.
Item number 17, to approve the transfer of Mr. Michael Del Bono, labor, sanitary engineer, pay range 3, 3 years, $16.26 to the position of deputy dog warden, dog kennel, pay range 4, 3 years, that pays $17.53. And that's effective April 17th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because the employee lacks any shred of experience related to the job posting? No.
These are union
Is
positions.
there a
They're bid
degree
on.
in feeding dogs?
There's a
These are,
require.
these are bargaining positions that people bid on.
There's-
It's per collective bargaining.
It doesn't,
agreements.
it does, there's no education requirement, but there is a requirement for, I believe, 6 to 18 months of working with dogs as a job experience. And this-
Again, these are jobs that are in the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay.
They can be bid on.
yes, I understand they can be bid on, but at the same time,
So are you,
there is a minimum
so we're
requirement.
not going to follow the collective bargaining
The
agreement.
collective bargaining agreement actually says that they have to have the experience. That's what the bargaining agreement says.
don't
I went
believe
over
that.
it yesterday. I'm gonna ask your HR director. Would you like to ask the HR director?
I'm fine with the transfer.
Item number 18. Pursuant to section 5513.
Get my vote. Okay.
Number 18 pursuant to section 5513.01B of the Ohio Revised Code to authorize the Trumbull County Engineer to purchase sodium chloride rock salt through the Ohio Department of Transportation for the 2023-2024 winter fill and to execute the participation agreement with the State of Ohio Department of Transportation Office of Contracts Purchasing Services, authorizing the participation of Trumbull County in this contract 018-24, to purchase sodium chloride rock salt and agreeing to be bound by the invitation terms and conditions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 19, to concur with the Trumbull County Engineer to grant the special hauling permit to haul steel coils, and that's with PI&I Motor Express Incorporated.
Motion to concur with the Trumbull County Engineer to grant special hauling permit to PI&I.
Second.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Item number 20, to concur with the Trumbull County Engineer to grant the special annual supplier fleet permits, and that's with Heist Equipment and H&H Land Clearing LLC, Hauser Services LLC, Trumbull Cement Products Company Incorporated, Trumbull County Logging Company Incorporated, Bob's Tree Service and Stump Removal LLC, Darrell L. Rathburn.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 21, to award the lowest responsive and responsible bid as submitted by U.S. Bridge Division of the Ohio Bridge Corporation. And this is for the TRU CH 206D Painesville Warren State Road. That's the SOU 26 Bridge Rehabilitation Project located in Southington Township in the amount of $203,232.76. This is funded at 100% by a bridge funding program grant received through the County Engineers Association of Ohio, which will be a direct pay. No highway or general funds are required. And this is also to enter into the contract. The engineer's estimate for this was $216,450. And the other bid submitted for this project was Jet Excavating Company, and they came in at $335,000.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 22, to close the roads listed. That's Morro Ray Road, and that is in Mecca Township. And that's immediately until further notice. And that's Stoddard Hayes Road located in Johnson Township. And that will be Monday, April 17th, 2023 through Friday, May 5th, 2023.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item 23, to authorize the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners Clerk to advertise for sealed bids for the Trumbull County Adult Probation Department to accept payments by financial transaction device.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 24, to receive and place on file the 2022 annual report of the Girard Municipal Court as submitted by Judge Jeffrey D. Adler, and forward a copy on to the County Auditor's Office.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
We did number 25, so we'll go on to number 26. Is to amend agenda item dated November 30th, 2022, Journal Volume 155, pages 25250, 25251, entering into agreements with the municipalities listed for services of the Public Defender's Office. The amendment is necessary to allow Denny Malloy, President of the Board of Commissioners, to sign agreements on behalf of former Commissioner Frank S. Fuda.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because I didn't receive enough information about this, no.
Item number 27, to adopt resolution to maintain the record of proceedings for the Trumbull County Board of Commissioners by electronic means, whereas Ohio Revised Code 305.10 authorizes the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners to adopt a resolution directing the clerk to maintain a full record of the proceedings by electronic means. Whereas Ohio Revised Code 9.01 allows the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners to maintain a full record of the proceedings by audio or video recordings. Whereas Ohio Revised Code 305.11 authorizes the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners to orally approve the electronic record of proceedings from the previous meeting after the clerk certifies that the entire record of proceedings at the meeting is completely and accurately captured by audio or video recording. Whereas the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners now audio or videos all records all meetings and work sessions to make them available to the public. And whereas the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners finds that making the audio or video recordings the official record of the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners is the most transparent and efficient manner to serve the residents of Trumbull County and to document the actions of the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners hereby adopts this resolution to maintain the full record of the proceedings by audio or video recording of all meetings and work sessions, and that these recordings shall take place of any written meeting minutes created by the clerk. Therefore, be it resolved, further resolved, that the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners shall orally approve the audio or video recordings from the prior meeting after the clerk certifies that the recordings completely and accurately capture the record of proceedings at the meeting.
Motion to approve?
Can you continue reading this? This is a major change.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump the gun there.
Therefore, be it further resolved that the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners hereby directs the clerk to maintain a written summary of the record of the proceedings only if the audio or video recording of any meeting or work session malfunctions. Therefore, be it further resolved that the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners direct the clerk to promptly prepare, file, and maintain and make available for public inspection the audio or video recordings of all meetings and work sessions. Therefore, be it further resolved that it is found and determined that all actions of the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of the Trumbull County Commissioners, and that all deliberations of the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements of sections 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Therefore, be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective on the earliest date allowed by law.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, discussion. So, was this discussed in executive session last week?
First of all, our executive session last week is privy attorney-client privilege, but I'll tell you, no, it was not. This was discussed by me and an attorney, and I looked through what other counties in the state do, and then I went to the state attorney general's website, and they have on their open meetings laws, they have the manual, which you probably have a copy of, and I've read through, and it talked about audio or video. So I consulted with an attorney on there. He told me what other counties did. He copied this same exact thing that is in many, many counties across the state, and he submitted it to me. I submitted it to Paula to put on
I'd
the
like to
agenda today.
I asked for then publicly a records request of what was sent to you.
That's
By an-
attorney-client
No,
privilege.
it's not actually. If it's related to the board's activities, I'd like to see that. It's not attorney-client privilege.
I don't think
It's-
you are the one who deems whether or not that's attorney-client
So
privilege, but
then you
we
give
can
it,
ask the
then you,
prosecutor's office
then you
if you'd
take
like.
it and you give it to the prosecutor's office and you ask them. But I'm requesting that because if someone is advising the Board of Commissioners, then all of the Board of Commissioners should be advised as it relates to policy changes such as this.
Any of us
So-
can put an item on the agenda, and if it's a
Correct.
change in the way we do work or a change
Yes.
in policy, any of us can recommend it on
Okay,
here, and I'm
so- and I
recommending
don't-
we do this.
Okay, so I'm asking you for a copy of what was sent to you.
I will consult with my attorney to see if that is allowable or not allowable with it. And,
It's not.
anything
No?
that I have regarding that in my thing that is with my attorney.
Okay.
I'll,
Just like your personal attorney, when you talk to them, is not something that
So-
I'm privy to.
So the other thing that this raises for discussion that is significant is last year or a year and a half ago or whatever it was.
I wasn't here then.
All of the ladies in the commissioner's office, the employees received major pay raises.
Can we
because-
stick to the agenda
Yes,
item?
this is related. Receive, and don't interrupt.
We have to
so-
stick with the
okay,
agenda.
so
item.
don't-
Speak to the
don't-
chair.
don't
Don't you
interrupt.
follow procedure also?
Okay, so a couple years ago or between a year and 2 years ago, all of the employees received major raises because they were absorbing more work because one person had left. Everyone was given raises. Then they added additional staff on top of the reason, which was because they had to absorb more work to reduce the workloads. Okay. And the reasons, excuses given for not getting the meeting minutes done were because they were shorthanded and needed more staff. So we went from having, I believe, 4 employees to 7 right now in the commissioner's office. And now we're eliminating the most time-consuming task. I think we need to reevaluate at this point the need for those additional employees that were added on now that the major time-consuming duty is being eliminated. Because you have now people who will ostensibly be twiddling their thumbs during the day because they were brought here.
Commissioner,
To-
that's a derogatory- that's a
No.
It's not even
statement
true.
that you're
They will
making.
be, they were brought here to prepare, and this is evidenced in past meetings stated by the clerk,
There's
stated by
still
other.
gonna be as much work
Don't
involved in
interrupt
this.
me.
You
Don't,
don't have the
don't,
floor anymore. We're gonna
don't.
move on.
No,
from this.
you don't have the
Because that's
ability
not
to
your
interrupt.
meeting.
It's a false narrative and anybody
This is-
who
this is-
wants the record
You
can get the record.
don't. So it has been stated at past commissioners meetings that the reason why the minutes weren't done is because they were short-staffed and they needed to have more employees in order to do these minutes and how time consuming they were. And that's the reason why they were getting the hundreds and hundreds of hours in comp time, was because of these meeting minutes. So now if you're taking away the most time consuming task from our staff, do we really need the 3 extra employees?
Do you realize
Thank you.
how far back the journaling goes that we can't catch up on? Months and months and months. You have no idea of that. This will eliminate a lot of that.
They are still working at maximum capacity, even without this. This is to help loosen the burden on that and to comply. Now that we just spent $65,000 on record keeping means by videotaping and audio taping, why do we need to duplicate the work? Why do busy work for anybody? There's other areas we can utilize these employees. There's other things that need done. And right now, things haven't been gotten done. This is one piece of the puzzle where we can move forward to be more efficient for the taxpayers' dollars.
It's
in the
not what
county.
was stated. This is just changing the narrative in order to justify maintaining staff at a level that's not needed.
Well, I know you're upset that you can't burden the employees any more than what you have, but that's.
I
that means no.
challenge this board to see a county our like size with the same demographics, with the amount of staff that we have in our commissioner's office. 7 people is not excessive. As a matter of fact, it's understaffed.
Other commissioners in in the state of
You
Ohio.
want to
have-
add more staff.
who
You
have it-
wanted-
who-
At many meetings said you need an assistant.
Stop, and point of order, don't be a bully, stop interrupting, period. So truly, in the other communities where they have additional staff, they actually have county administrators and budget managers so that the auditor doesn't have to do a duty that's outside the scope of their services, which is probably going to be a finding.
So put those
So-
on the agenda to be voted on if that's what you want to do, and we'll vote on it.
Structuring is something that the county needs to consider. Instead of
your opinion.
adopting
your
a many
opinion,
hands
Commissioner.
make light work for clerical duties.
No more lighter work than what you do.
Mr. Cantala Mesa. for item
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 28, to adopt a resolution for record purposes for the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners to hold a special meeting on Tuesday, April 25th, 2023 at 1:30 PM in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, 5th floor, 160 High Street, Northwest Warren, Ohio, 44481. The special meeting will be to discuss pending and future American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA applications with applicants, the public, and the press, and to discuss any other ARPA-related matters.
A motion to approve.
Second,
When was this discussed and decided?
yesterday, when I gave you 4 weeks, I talked about it at last week's meeting. I talked about it 2 weeks before that,
So
where I gave you a deadline. You volunteered to set the meeting up. And I said to have it by next week. Well, you gave an excuse. Last week you weren't there. We had no meeting. So I said, we're not gonna make the public wait any longer. It's been 1 month since you volunteered to do the meeting. So yesterday's meeting, I brought it up in the public hearing. We had Ed Agler call around for some meeting locations. The staff looked around to see if we could find some meeting locations. We came up with this one, and we will be having another one that'll be offsite for the people that can't make it during the day, to be accessible to all the public and all the trustees that can't make it during the day. This is the one, the first one though, which will be next week.
Okay,
I'm
so,
following through on
so,
the promise that I made.
so
up
this
here
was, so
from the
this,
chair.
this was discussed and determined yesterday.
No, we're determining it right now.
No,
We're
this-
voting on it.
Okay, well, it was discussed yesterday, and yesterday, I want to point out, thank you for admitting that. Yesterday was a work session where the agenda was issued and this was not on the agenda. Okay, thank you.
Right. What we're doing is we're putting it on the agenda to be voted on. to be
ARPA
fully
has been on the
transparent.
The
agenda
dis-
for every work session we've had. We've talked about ARPA at every single
The-
work session. 'Cause That's
discuss-
part of the county's business.
I don't know what we're gonna find.
Consult your attorneys, because
We have.
special meetings need to stick with the agenda that they're supposed, that.
It was not a special meeting yesterday.
It was a work
You
session.
need, you don't know the law like you think you do.
An agenda was issued, and this was the agenda that was issued, and I didn't see anywhere on their ARPA discussion. Okay,
We discussed it.
okay.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes, and I have been waiting for a few months now for our staff, which is now nearly doubled to provide a spreadsheet. Are you going to instruct the staff to do that, or are they just
It's sitting on the table out there where you refuse to go and sign paperwork. It's been sitting there for 2 days now.
a spread? I have a mailbox.
It's in a folder out there for you to get where I got mine and Mauro got his. You're more than welcome to go collect your mail in the public
No,
area where everybody
mail-
else does.
My mail is put in my mailbox.
Why?
I
Is that a law? Is that the rule somewhere? Or is that something that you
It's-
want, that you're demanding of people? There's a public area out there. It's
Just
already
pick
been
it up.
discussed.
You know, I
It's
mean,
proper
let's work
decorum.
together here.
That's proper decorum.
It's got your
for-
name on it real big too. It's sitting out there. It's for
Okay.
2 days. If you'd sign the paperwork,
I've
that they're
got-
waiting on
I
you to
sent
sign,
an
you would
em-
see
I
that
sent
also.
An email asking for all the paperwork to be brought back and so that I could review everything and sign it, and everything that's mailed that's for me should be given to me. And I'd like to see it because I doubt that it includes everything that I requested. I just kind of assume those things at this point.
There you go, assuming.
Well, I mean, if someone's listening, and I know that the staff sits back there and listens to the meeting, can you please bring me the Excel spreadsheet that was prepared, if it was prepared? And include, and the email that I sent requesting that certain items be included so I could evaluate it to make sure that it is as requested.
Okay, with that, I'm gonna make a motion from the floor. And this is to reiterate something that's already been done before, but I'm gonna do it officially here with me now that I'm in. And it's a motion to accept the procedure for signing agenda item backup documents. This was originally dated December 15th prior to me, 2022. And the motion is to clarify some concerns regarding the execution of agenda backup documents. The following procedure for obtaining signatures should be as follows. An original of the documents will be placed on the front receptionist table only by clerks in the department when completed to make them available for signing by the 3 commissioners. No originals may be removed from the table for any reason. No original document may be altered, amended, written on without prior approval by a majority of the Board of Commissioners. The
Prior
approving parties for
approval
the
by the
documents,
majority
I'm
of the
reading a
board.
motion. now.
Yeah, you're reading something that's contrary to
The
the
approving
sunshine.
parties for the documents
An
will
employee.
regularly
wrote it.
visit the office and sign the appropriate original documents and leave them on the table for processing. This must be done in a timely manner to prevent delays in processing. The clerks will collect the executed documents on a daily basis and process them as required.
I'll make a second on that. And this is just common office etiquette. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how we can dispute.
I
this.
want to say that this is a common thing, is that the employees decide that they want to do things the way they want to. They write a policy and they ask the commissioners to sign off on what they want.
This,
And that's
this
what,
was a piece of
wait,
paper I found in the
that-
file from
and this is what,
previous
yes,
commissioners.
and this is what happened in December with Frank and Morrow, which was contrary to sunshine when they signed it. And since the employees aren't familiar with complying with that, they actually included in this statement that says without the majority of the board approval, which is something that they routinely do, which violates sunshine.
I-
And then
I'm seeing how
second,
I'm Proposing this now.
And
Oh my
sec-
gosh, let's move
So-
on. Vote
well,
yes or no.
You should have probably edited it to remove something that would, and also I want to point out that this is.
I didn't read it exactly as it's written there.
This is,
I added and changed as I read the motion
okay,
from the floor.
this is actually something that is a policy to bind a commissioner. And the Board of Commissioners doesn't have the ability to implement policies on other commissioners. So I just wanted to put that out.
Well, Commissioner,
Okay.
when you pulled your hijinks back in the past where you slid documents in there and you wrote on
Didn't
folders.
slide
and you-
anything anywhere. I set something out and and they signed it
Yeah.
sitting straight out on the table. There's a
You've
picture
written
of
on
it.
the envelopes out there where the clerks have had to go and redo things because you've made marks on them.
Written on contracts, written on
contracts.
resolutions.
This is to
I have-
prevent that from happening, to prevent more busy
Or
work.
I mean, I would do it again. and-
Facing
and-
well,
public documents.
It's
that
not
does matter.
facing a public
You
document.
don't follow any
Yes.
policies
Okay.
anyway, so what's one more policy for you not to follow?
Oh, okay.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
No,
Okay, that concludes the normal agenda items from here. Is anybody from the floor has anything for the good of Trumbull County? Can you please approach the mic? We'll go with Alexandra first.
So just some things.
State your
that I
name
was-
because this
Oh,
is on
doesn't matter.
recording.
It's David Jensen
In
Bush.
the, in the mic,
So
you can take it off too.
I would like to address first thing, specifically the prosecutor's opinion needing to come before agenda items hit the agenda. So I'm just asking to resolve this. So if Paula is not the person who has the knowledge of the contract because it's coming from a department head, or if she's unclear on something, could we not ask that the department heads do that before it comes to Paula? So that way it's not all on Paula to decipher all of that.
My suggestion is that when she receives it, if it doesn't come with that actual information, that she just be the gatekeeper, send it back out to the department head and say, this can't come on our agenda until you've done it. So I think it should be the person who's placing it on the agenda who does it. I agree with you.
Okay, because
But
I don't feel I just have to be quite honest. I
Mm.
don't feel it's fair to, I don't want to say, put it all on her. It might not even be part of her job. I mean, not to actually go get the prosecutor's opinion, but because it's coming from a different department head. She doesn't know the nuances of what's in that contract or what the dollar amounts are. She wouldn't know. So I think that we need to really defer back to our department heads, just looking at this from an HR perspective. I think we need to defer back to our department heads and ask that of them rather than continuously looking to her. for
Well,
that.
what happens is they send them over on a Thursday, for example, or Friday or whenever, and then she just puts it right on the agenda without verifying that she'll just say, well, it says that they asked. And like she said today, she's submitting an email that says it said that they asked on this date. Well, that doesn't show that it happened or it was approved. And one of the things I think that's on our agenda, that was on our yesterday's agenda, was to discuss the professional services agreement with Heritage Health, which is an example of an item that came down where there were errors in the contract that ultimately happened because we didn't get it. We as commissioners didn't get the final approved version before we voted on it. So, and then we are the other thing is the Board of Commissioners, we're the contracting authority for every elected official in Trumbull County. So if the sheriff sends something over to us, at the end of the day, we have to sign it and we have to make sure that it's right. So like I said, this is an example of something that came over all marked up from the prosecutor's office, but it didn't get done by our office the right way. So I just need to
Are
make
you
sure.
talking about Heritage?
Is our clerk,
False information. That is false information that was said last week when we were executive session. We had the prosecutors here yesterday at the workshop.
That was said
Our
last,
staff
what do you
got
mean
blamed,
executive
Deanna,
session?
respectfully,
Wait,
it
wait.
was
Can you
no, no,
please not interrupt?
wait, did you just
Our staff.
discuss, so in executive session, it was discussed, you said?
No, when we were in executive session.
you were
had
blabbing
a
about it
narrative
on
when I
the
did the minutes out here about
Facebook
Heritage
page.
agreement, ma'am, that was not fair and it was false information. It was not
Okay.
our office.
This
who
is
did
not
that.
this is not,
Saying
no,
this.
no,
I
this
have
is
to
not a
say
petty
this.
back and forth. This is we need to move forward and do things the right way and make sure that this doesn't happen,
This-
okay?
Alex,
So
I
that's
do.
what I'm asking.
And I don't believe our clerk has the title of assistant administrator in her title or administrator, and I don't think that's part of her duties either.
So that's what I'm asking the board for. In all honesty, guys, I really want to move us forward and I want to get some of the rights the roles and responsibilities back to where they belong to. So boy, this thing is really, so what I'm saying is I think that we need to defer pulling it on all on Paula. Yes, she can make sure that she has the prosecutor opinion before putting it on, but it's not her job or role to go seek all those prosecutors' opinions. And I also believe that she doesn't necessarily have the wherewithal to know which ones need it, which ones don't. I mean, every department has their nuances. So I'm just advocating for trying to do the right thing and move us forward so we can move forward with these meetings and not have to worry about these things here. Let's get it done beforehand. Let's, get Paula a process and procedure, the staff a process and procedures. Let's move forward so we can make these meetings as productive as possible.
I would appreciate it if you can come up with something
Would the board be
with the
okay with
board's
that?
permission so that, but my
I
preference.
think we
is
already
just-
have a letter from Jason Toth saying he doesn't need every single thing to come by his office.
But
We
I
have better
also,
things
but
to
we
do.
also have Danzo, who's the director of the civil division, who said that he prefers to approve things as to process, form, and correctness before change orders, contracts, and agreements come on.
And
So that's gotten us into trouble, even purchases contracts sometimes where we've done
sure.
the wrong thing or almost have, and I've caught it or something.
So my question is, how do we know that though? How does she know that? How do we help her know what needs to be approved to form versus what needs to be not approved to form, what they want to see, what they don't want to see? maybe we can work through that and get a process together.
Many things on the agenda this week. I worked with Mike Salamone. I've talked to Mr. Chuck Miller twice about his. I talked to Miss Diane about her renewal. The prosecutor's office was aware of many of these things as I've been here for quite some time. So the effort is always there to reach out to them for the sheriff's agreements. You know, we've made changes in the past. If they're not new changes, we'll accept it. Which is pretty much what's reasonable, and many are administrative decisions, but I do try to do as Ms. Frenchco ask, and to seek them and to have the departments. And you may ask any department on this agenda, and they'll probably say, Paula said, did you talk to the prosecutor? They're not going to put a stamp on, you know, on them, but they definitely, if we ask them, they will, but
That's what I would like, right there, what Paula just said, and would save a lot of stress, would say, before anything comes in, put the stamp on there that says approved as to form, process, and correctness.
That is a separately elected office, and they don't have to listen to what the commissioners
They
say.
actually, we are their clients, and if
Right.
that's our requirement that we do that,
It's
then
not true.
I think that we at least make an effort to make it an easier process for our staff by saying, hey, before these come on, to prevent mistakes, to prevent, you know, purchases, whatever, because so too many, since I've been here, there've been maybe a handful of times where the prosecutor's office has reached back and said, hey, this was done wrong. This was an illegal contract. This is changing the scope. This is a bidding. We need to actually use our legal counsel before we're voting on things. So that's my, that's how other communities do it. If you want to do the research and make a recommendation, I think that would be good. I'd also, you know, appreciate your input. We've got personnel, you know, like this thing that was just passed. If you're the HR director, I'd like your input on these things. So.
And I'll have to look at
Okay.
what was just passed. But my ultimate goal here is to relieve Paula and make sure she's not doing anything that's not in her scope of work. I just want to make sure that the roles and responsibilities are clear on what she is supposed to be doing and or not supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
So
I'd prefer that she just say back to the department head, we can't put this on until we have the final version, or at least, you know, email, let Danzo or Toth or whoever send it over and say, I approve what's connected, and then put that in my packet or our board's packet so we can see that this is the approved, this is the email, and this is the version.
and then if they don't, so this is if they don't need to see it or don't need to approve it. So I just want to wrap this up. If they don't need to, then does that suffice? Because they're telling us that they don't need to see it or it doesn't need to be.
Well,
approved.
then have the prosecutor's office put that in an email. We don't need to see this. I doubt that they'll do that, because I doubt that that's actually accurate. Thank you.
They will see it. There's the board signatures and there's space, approve as to form, prosecutor attorney. That's how they found the heritage error. There was an error. It was their counsel, and the way we do
was an
business
error.
in Trumbull County was a difference for the heritage. It wasn't, everyone did what they were supposed to. It was that heritage was looking at, this is legal under the state. Well, that doesn't mean that's how Trumbull County.
They're
That's
not our
this.
legal counsel. That's
What I'm
the whole
saying, what
issue. Our
happened, I'm
counsel
saying
is
that
downstairs.
Bill Danzo found that error before the board signed the agreement. Bill Danzo or Jason Toth will look at this private extension
and sign
agreement
the form.
before we let the board sign. The board
We-
is last to sign.
I
to
don't
protect
I
them.
don't feel comfortable ever voting on something that legal counsel hasn't approved or looked at. Like Mike Salamone once had us all approve. I didn't do it because I would never do that. And the grant applications could have been rejected, to approve match money grant applications that hadn't even been written yet, subject to approval. You can't do that. And then yesterday there was an effort to award a contract that didn't even exist yet. So I started asking questions that ultimately got pulled. But we
That's
need
not
to make
true.
sure things
That's not true.
we need to make
Again,
sure
that's-
things are done
It's just completely false.
correctly.
Okay, so I just wanted to discuss that about the prosecutor's opinion, specifically to Paula. So I want to make sure that that was clear.
Thank
We
you.
can continue to work on that, but I do think that there's some misplaced understanding of who owns that process, and it's making it very difficult.
I will remind everyone that the commissioners will not sign unless the prosecutor signs first. So that agendas are fluid. It happens in every county. Agenda items can be amended. We do it all the time here. So if that's the case, we can do that. And it happens all the time.
I think it's according to Bill Danzo, it it is what he wants is to see things before. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And that's been a problem in Trumbull County where the things have been signed, agreed, purchased, change orders approved that change the scope, pending litigation over, and it could all be prevented just by having our
Commissioner,
prosecutor's office. approve it
Commissioner, you
first.
voted on an amendment today. Did you even realize that? Something that was amended that you voted on, and you voted on it before. So that's what we do here. We try to, we always look at the best interest of the
I
county,
read it.
and we always try to push things forward because things are time sensitive. If we
Mhm.
need to go back and fix them, we do.
I'd prefer not to have to go back
I
and
would
fix
too. I'm not
things.
saying that that's what I prefer.
Okay,
But
so
at
then
some
if
point,
you
we have
have
to do the
the,
people's
if you,
business.
if you have, just because it's the way you've always done it, doesn't mean it's the best way. And so if we can do it in
break
a
down into
better
these
way.
Personal arguments
let's
now.
move
that's-
forward. We're
that's
wasting
not doing
taxpayers' time
anybody
right now.
Any good.
The other thing that I wanted to just make sure that I brought up was the office staff conversation. So taking the minutes off of the plate. There is additional duties that I understand that have been picked up through this technology. They have to run the meeting, they have to admit people into the meeting. So I just wanted to I just wanted to make sure that we were leveling the playing field. There are additional duties that I understand that they have picked up. You know, obviously getting rid of minutes is one thing, but there's been multiple additional duties that they have picked up along the way. So I just wanted to make that clear to the
Thank
board.
you.
That is my understanding. If anybody wants to discuss that with me, my door is always open, but that
And,
is my
and
understanding.
just for the record too, the clerk still has to listen to the meeting. If there's,
Correct.
if there's things
Correct.
missing or omitted or
Correct.
bad volume or whatever, she still has to listen to it and correct that and journalize that.
Correct. And I
Or
also
write that,
actually,
I should say.
I did this on my own. I also went over and I understand that you have an office staff employee admitting people into the meeting, unmuting them. I mean, the person is sitting there having to listen to the meeting to help keep the process flowing, the technology flowing. So, I mean, that is somebody's job that they're doing in lieu of minutes, but that's still time that they're doing a job.
But that's been going on since COVID when they had the other phone system too. So once they started the.
There was nobody
access-
monitoring
Yeah,
that.
not as intense.
That was monitored here.
And then one more thing, I'm so sorry, but I just want to make sure I was clear. And then as pertaining to the 2493, in Article 11, it does say, just so the commissioners are clear, that when somebody is bidding from, you know, union to union positions, they are to look at the qualifications. Now, I will say, this gentleman did list his qualifications, and I don't want to go into specifics here, but the qualifications that he did listed were that he could meet the minimum qualifications. He attested to that. There is, I have to tell you, there is a 5-day clause in that article. So if the person for any job, not this one specifically, this is not personal, this is just what the article says. If they can't fulfill that job after they get in there and have 5 days of working and training and
They
whatever.
can
the
go
case may
back
be,
to their old
They can
job.
go back, correct, yes.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure that everybody understood that.
Correct.
But
Okay.
but the person didn't have actual direct experience, and I believe other candidates did.
No union member will have direct experience in the dog pound if they didn't work there before.
Correct.
That's the
And
problem.
It's
The
a problem
bid,
indeed.
I don't want
yeah.
to go into, you know,
Well,
who,
Okay.
Do we
person is-
train every union member at the dog pound
So
then?
we stop past practices.
The past practice is a collective bargaining agreement that you approved.
so
No.
it would be something, yes, it's per the CBA. There's not much that we can do.
Thank you.
But there is a clause in there that if we need to defer back to, that's why that clause is there. Now, we can target this again next CBA agreements, but I just want to make sure.
Thank
that
you.
Right now, we're stuck with what
Yeah,
we're stuck with.
And I think I mentioned.
Testing is in there as well,
Yes.
yes. It can be in there and it can be utilized, correct?
Okay. Thank
That's all
you.
I had.
Thank you.
I think Diane wants to continue on to that and then we'll go to you, Beth. I'm sorry. Diane, come on. No, Diane, no, you're up next.
I have 2 items that I would wish. to
And say your name and department for the people listening, please.
Diane Jerkovic with the Senior Levy Administration. I just want to get clarification on item number 26, which was an amendment to allow Denny to sign the agreements on behalf of former Commissioner Frank Fuda. We have the same situation coming up with ODOT. Yesterday, Mike and I met with 2 individuals from ODOT. We have to do a resolution to change the signatory authority from what was Frank to you, Denny, as president. Isn't this the same item? I'm just asking for clarification. I'm Paula's.
I think it's illegal. I would ask legal for that, as I
Okay.
did. I don't, because I
Well,
wouldn't want to say to follow, it could be 2
The
different
the
things.
comment made, and this is where I want clarification, because next week we're going to be bringing this resolution to change the signatory authority for our ODOT grant. Nikki said there wasn't supportive documentation. What would that documentation be, Nikki? So that we can have that ready next week whenever we bring that resolution that ODOT is requiring us to have for our ODOT grant.
Just the past resolutions. If I don't see anything at all in my
So you
packet,
want
I'm not,
to
I don't
see-
have anything. Like, so, for example,
No, just
everything,
you want
everything,
the past resolution that Frank.
whatever.
signed?
Yes, the past and the past journal action of proving it.
Okay, that's.
Cause
all I
that'll
was asking.
refresh my memory to see if it's something that I voted on originally. You know, I don't
problem.
vote on things unless I have the supporting information. I think that's.
My second clarification. Yesterday, we did remove the item that we will be putting back on the agenda for next week for the
Mhm.
transportation agreements. And I spelled out the ODOT requirements and our internal policies for contracting. And Nikki responded back.
Commissioner,
I'm sorry, Commissioner Frenchco, sorry. Did respond back that one cannot vote on something that does not exist. What did not exist in that agenda item?
a contract. It says to award a contract. So if you award a contract, you have to make sure it's done. And I also received all the information from ODOT as well.
Award
Uh,
the individual vendors their contracts. So how do I prepare a contract if I don't know what you're going to award? I can't complete a contract, a blank contract without knowing what amounts you are going to award, what vendors. The initial,
you would
the
put your-
process
okay.
is, first we come to your board to award. Then I take that back, I complete the contracts with the amount that you awarded, the journal action information, the vendor's name. That contract is completed. It's already been approved as to form by the prosecutor's office, by ODOT. Once that contract is created, I send it to the commissioner's office personnel.
Yeah.
They then send it to the auditor's office for a fiscal certificate. They send it to the prosecutor's office. They get the approval then. Yes, they do. This is what I've been told. And then the commissioners, by signing, are finally approving that contract. The fully executed contract then is sent. to
Finally,
ODOT,
okay.
the fully
Okay.
negotiated contract is sent to ODOT.
so I want to I'm interrupting because I must. You said that at that point is when they finally approve it. But with our signatures, you said, you said, hey,
Negotiate.
one at a time. You said that you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, and then it's finally approved. What I'm saying, you said approved
I'm going
once
to
it,
correct myself. Once you fully negotiate.
no, you said then once, you just
you're
got done,
approving that.
Diane, stop. You just got done.
Director, if you're gonna be referred
Okay,
to
you
as
just,
commissioner,
yeah.
she's director.
So you just got done saying the final approval is when the commissioners sign it. So what I'm saying is before the commissioners sign it, before it comes onto the agenda, I want to see the contract. Look, I'm looking at ODOT and ODOT is asking for the negotiated draft contract between all parties.
Negotiated.
Please stop talking
Signed.
when I'm talking.
That's what that
That's enough.
means.
It says the
Negotiated,
negotiated
signed.
draft
Lawyer, but I know that.
contract between all parties that includes all applicable FTA clauses. I have not seen a copy of that, not even a negotiated one. The agency's attorney approval, there's an order. There's also a checklist that gives the order. And the last part of it is the documentation of agencies governing board approval, which means
Talk to ODOT?
after. Yeah.
We
Okay.
talked to ODOT yesterday. They said that the award recommendation is that document in that part of that letter. We asked them yesterday what you will need copies of when we met with them. They said we are following our program to the T.
Thank you. And you presented a very nice checklist provided by ODOT yesterday
ODOT
also
got the
for you to
checklist,
check and sign off on.
Prosecutors have looked at the contract. I will be completing the contracts based on the award next week. And you will get a copy of the ODOT version. You'll get a copy of the prosecutor's version. You'll get a copy of the final draft that then is created based on the amount you say you're going to award.
Will we have that absent the dollar amounts by next week so that we can actually vote on something we,
Process. then.
Exactly.
You're asking. for
And,
a new
and I've been
process.
asking for a new process since I started it
Let me-
because the old one
Let me speak,
doesn't
though.
work.
One cannot vote on something that does not exist. That's not the process right now. What you stated
contract.
is false.
No, the agenda item said to award a contract. You can't award a contract if no contract exists.
It's to.
And it's not a
award-
contract if there's no numbers in there if it's blank either.
And it goes on the agenda at the time that you have the contract. That, I mean, it's pretty clear. You can disagree. Thank you.
Okay, Beth, you're up. And we'd like to welcome you. This is Beth Bigham. She's the Northeastern Ohio District Representative for Senator J.D. Vance, and we welcome you to Trumbull County. And we thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure to spend some time in Trumbull County this morning and now this afternoon. I want to thank each of the commissioners for the work that you do. I served on Hudson City Council for nearly 7 years, and so I understand the sacrifice that you give for your community and also the great benefit that you all provide. So thank you for that. I had an opportunity to spend some time with the Trumbull County Children's Services this morning and toured their facility, which was fantastic. Met their executive director and some of their staff, presented them with a proclamation there. It's the Child Abuse Prevention Month. So certainly always good to bring awareness to that, and thankful for the folks in Trumbull County that are supporting those efforts. Basically this morning, I just wanted to come, or this afternoon, come and introduce myself and let you know that we want to have open dialogue with all of you. We want to be there for you. I represent Senator Vance over 20 counties, across 20 counties, and certainly Trumbull County is very important to us. So as you experience issues that you may have to interact with the federal government, I hope that you would utilize me to be sort of a go-between if that's necessary, or if those needs arise, whether that's constituent services, anything that we can be helpful with. If there are areas where you need letters of support for certain projects and things like that. Although Senator Vance is not participating in earmarks, we do want to be, open to the needs of the community, and certainly as we analyze those requests for letters of support, Senator Vance, as of now, is personally reviewing each of those, which is, to me, seems like a really monumental task. But he is a very hands-on guy, and we've really hit the ground running. And so we want to, be open, to all the needs of the community. So thank you for your time. I appreciate this. This has been a very interesting meeting, and look forward to coming back to Trumbull County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have contact information, a card or something? Okay.
Anybody else from the room? Okay, Shara, we're going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. You can hit *6 to unmute yourself. Please keep your comments directly related to the business of Trumbull County and be polite.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. I am, are you there?
Yes, your name and where you're from, please.
Darlene Fuda Niles. The thing is, I'm tired of her bashing Paula. Paula does her job. If Nikki would come to work and do hers, there wouldn't be a problem. The second thing is, I don't see her bashing her friends on the download. And I'm sure Frenchco knows what the download is. Right, French? Yeah. Are you in the download too? That's pathetic. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Okay, next person,
That's the previous commissioner's wife.
next constituent, please. It's *6 on your phone lines to unmute yourself. Okay, we give you one more chance. Anyone else on the phone line, hit *6 and announce yourself.
Commissioners?
Yes, go ahead. Name and where you're from.
Yep, this is Director Ed Agler at the Ag Center. You all know why I couldn't be there today, and But in the midst of what I'm doing, I had a phone call from the attorney from the Ohio Department of Agriculture about the disbursement of our funds for this project out here at the Ag Center. And I sent him the information that he needs from Shara. So Shara, if you're listening, we will talk later. And if you need anything else, let me know. And in the same time, I just received probably 5 minutes ago a phone call from Senator O'Brien asking me what was going on, because they were wondering at the Senate level, you know, what was happening with this project, because they haven't heard anything and didn't know what was going on. So I assured them that this is all working out, that it's being worked on. I said, let her know that I'm working on this project now again, and they extended our time because, as you knew when I talked to you the other day, that we had a time frame on this, but they did assure me just 5 minutes ago that they were going to extend this and help us out with this. And so there should not be any problems. Everything's working out. I did get a hold of a couple contractors first thing this morning before I had to go do what I had to do. And so I just want to let you know that the wheels are rolling on this, that we're moving along, and I'm real happy with how this is going. So I will continue to keep you informed on the progress and where we're standing at. So just wanted to bring you up to date, and I'm glad that I was able to get back on the phone and have you still there, because I figured by now you'd be off. So thank you for your time, and that's all I got to tell you.
Thank you. Okay, next caller, anyone else from the phone lines? It's *6 to unmute yourself and announce your name. Last chance. Okay, with that,
I wanted to ask one more thing. If the HR director is looking into a process.
talking to the microphone, please.
If
Sensitive.
if the HR director is looking into a process for, making sure things are signed, or the best practice for our contracts when they get submitted, I would also like to ask, all the financial items that we receive, I don't get the backup, like, alls I've been asking for since I started was an explanation for the transfers. And instead, these come the day of the workshop, and it's just the transfer. It's like it's a sheet. It doesn't show any reason. And I've been asking the staff to ask other entities for the information and to put them in my packet. And I might get 3 or 4. I might get like 10 to 25% of them each week. And I just would really love to be able to vote on things with reviewing them first, if there's any way you can help with that too.
Question I have is, why do you ask the staff to get that for you? Do you not know where Martha Yoder's office is or her phone number? Or why does the staff always have to get everything for you?
It's not, well, we're commissioners and we have administrative support staff, and they should be doing those things. And also, the transfers in most communities have a budget officer that goes over them and doesn't put them on the agenda until after that. And this is all they send over, is something like it goes over like that. I'm requesting an explanation, which some department heads and elected officials provide, and the majority of them do not. And at the end of the day, it's us to approve those. And I'd like to see the purpose of the transfers. Or
first of all, Commissioner Malloy, you referenced me. As far as the reasons for the transfers, we can't give those for departments other than the auditor. What our job is as auditors, to make sure the money is actually there when they're transferring from one thing, and say, yes, that's there. Now, on the transfers from our department, as in last week.
With the fund numbers.
Right. With the transfer specifically from the auditor's department, it was a transfer made in preparation for paying the debt. However, Commissioner Frenchco, you did receive that explanation. And I have the email that I shared with the other two commissioners. that from Christy Stark from our office from last Monday, you were emailed the explanation. So you said you didn't have it, but you did have it. As for the other departments, explanation, I can tell you what was transferred for line items, what was transferred from what to what, but I can't give the full explanation like the department head would. That's all I wanted to clarify is if she wants those explanations, she needs to get them from the department heads. And I have no control over other departments other than my department.
Elected officials.
Right, the elected officials, if they choose to do it, and that's up to them, it's not up to me. I have chosen and my staff have given those explanations. All I can give is on a department other than my own is what line item to what line item. However, I also will point out that a lot of times for those department heads are here on Tuesday. And those department heads do give those explanations, for example, from the sanitary engineer's office. So I think I understand wanting things in writing, but they're here, they're being given. There's no lack of transparency here. And as far as from my department, it was given to you.
Thank you.
So I wanna say that I don't just take things and verbally. And even if you're talking about people who are coming to a meeting and presenting certain explanations, I don't see it. I like to have a paper trail. I like to have things done properly and be able to see the reasons for those transfers. And some of those who participate and do that, it's wonderful. It takes no more than 3 minutes to write a little sentence explaining. Okay. It doesn't, okay. Did you want to come back up and talk or do you want to interrupt? Okay. So, well, wait, your turn. So some department heads actually, and the planning commission, for example, they just put a little brief 4-sentence, 2 to 5 sentences together explaining what it's for, but the others just send it in. And it's not customary for commissioners to just rubber stamp without reading or reviewing. And it's also not customary. I feel bad that, the auditor stepped into a situation where we're the only state and we're the only county in Ohio where the commissioners aren't doing their budget. And that's not your job. And it's probably going to be an audit finding. And we need to do things right.
Well, we're the only
Completely
county in
false.
Ohio with a lot of stuff here that we have to deal with as far as our county government and board of commissioners.
It's our most important statutory duty is doing.
Do we vote on the budget? Do we vote on the budget?
Preparing it, overseeing it, not just getting it to rubber stamp. That's like the legislature again. And I will say it again, how absurd it is. Just because you've always done it doesn't mean that it's the right way.
You have the opportunity to
just-
make any changes you'd like publicly. You put anything on the agenda at any time.
We don't have budgets.
Stop making excuses and come to the meetings and ask for help from the auditor.
It's not help from the auditor. You have a hard time comprehending that the duty of the budget is the statutory duty of the commissioners. It's like
It is.
it's like the legislative body. It would be like I'm gonna plug this. I'm sorry.
The commissioners approve the budget. You're correct.
It would be like the state legislature preparing the budget or having the auditor prepare the budget and then them only.
They prepare the budget with budget hearings and with input from the commissioners.
No,
That's
they
what
don't.
happens. Yes, it does. Okay, you're right. I mean, I can't argue with that because you're just saying something false and I'm going to dispute it, but that's how I feel.
You don't direct your heat towards me then.
There's a heater here blowing
Divider.
for no reason.
And he broke the divider last night on camera and did nothing about it. Now you got the heater. over
He
here.
damaged county equipment by breaking the divider. It's on camera. And she's laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, it's ridiculous.
All right, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.